Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 14690 Southwest Grebe Lane or Grebe Lane here in Beaverton. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. We are located inside the garage. There's the man door that goes into the house there. So at the back of the garage, just to the right of the door, we've got a 3-inch ABS clean out set in the concrete. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the clean out. And in case you're wondering, there is a clean out at the back of the house. That one is your storm system clean out. Probably also a combination with the low point drain as well coming out of the crawl space. So just right out of the gate, this is absolutely immaculately clean sewer line. There is hardly any signs that humans have even lived here. It's so clean. Rare thing to see that. And the main thing that gunks pipes up over time is cooking oil and grease. So that right there at the top of the pipe, generally speaking, when you get like a random stain like that, especially in a line this clean, what that is a blockage that happened temporarily. Kids probably flushed a whole bunch of balled up toilet paper down the line, something like that. The line blocked up temporarily, and then things busted loose under head pressure. Transitioning now into 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. God, this thing is insanely clean. I camera brand new, never lived in construction homes on a frequent basis that are not this clean. Anyway, the main thing that keeps your line this way is habits as it relates to what you put down and what you don't put down the kitchen sink drain. If you keep all your grease and cooking oil, bacon grease, all that stuff, fats in general, out of the kitchen sink drain, you can keep your line this clean. And I highly recommend doing that. It's not just from a visual standpoint. Grease buildup is a major contributing factor to blockages that result in backups. Like I showed you there a moment ago, the reason I pointed that out, that's what you want to have happen with a blockage. If it does happen, you want that thing to be able to bust loose after 3 to 5 feet of pipe fill up behind it. And that's much more likely to occur when your pipe walls are clean. When you have a bunch of grease buildup in your line, it acts like glue. That same blockage that busts loose temporarily can now withstand significantly more water building up behind it. It's more likely that run-of-the-mill stuff will turn into a backup, but certainly when the line does get abused on occasion, when giant balls of toilet paper go down the line and or improper things like wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, things like that. So anyway, we're going to go locate the camera head really quick here just to verify where the line terminates, and we'll pull back in. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out here. I'm going to call it Grebe. That just feels better. Grebe Lane. Where I picked the locate, it's a harder line to locate just due to the depth, but where I picked the signal, lines up at the front door. So the line runs out through the garage and it veers in front of the front door and then straightens out and shoots off into the road. Anyhow, if you are newer to home ownership and want to try and keep the line looking this way, this is a home that even homes that are being really careful about grease rarely look this clean, but kind of the general rule of thumb I tell most people to live by that mitigates most grease buildup, most of the meaningful stuff anyway. If you've got enough grease or oil on your pans, if you were to turn that pan sideways, this is when it's hot, obviously, not when it's cooled down and solidified, but if you were to turn the pan sideways and there's enough on there that it runs off the pan or flows off the pan, it's at that point you want to do something about it. Let the pan cool down, scrape it off into a garbage can or wipe it out with a paper towel. And or when it's hot and still liquid, pour it into a glass jar or a metal can, something that won't melt. Thin little coating of PAM spray on a pan is not a huge deal. Obviously you can still wipe that off with a paper towel. Hot water and soap generally handles that. And if you know some level of it is getting down the line, keep your hot water running for about a full 30 seconds to a minute after that last dish was scrubbed off. And that will help to keep things melted and emulsified till it gets to the main. When you shut the water off instantly after that last dish was scrubbed off, that water cools off rapidly once it hits the exterior of the home where the pipe's buried underground. So if you keep that hot water running for 30 seconds to a minute, it helps to keep everything melted until it gets at least a good distance from the house, if not to the main. So So anyway, you have the world's tiniest belly here. It dissipates off at 33 feet. So for instance, this belly right here is, I mean, barely worth talking about. It's so small. But if you're a home that puts a lot of cooking oil down the line, for instance, you'll see it concentrate in a spot like this. Grease builds up when it hits any amount of standing water at all. So this is what it looks like when you treat your line right. There's just nothing in here. It's a great example of how to treat a sewer line. Now that belly there is a couple galaxies away from repair worthy. And just for reference, I don't even consider repairs until there's at least 1 inch of water for a minimum of 5 feet. Now that's coming from a guy who's scoped 25,000 plus sewer lines at this point. Standing water and plastic lines, you've got to get a fair amount of it, and usually it's got to be pretty close proximity to the home before the belly on its own can even cause problems. Most bellies, especially in plastic smooth pipe, it's often, even significant ones, it's often 75% related to how the line was being treated. The belly was just what finished it off. So, different animal as it relates to standing water in cast iron concrete pipe walls that are rough. That's a different animal entirely. But anyway, we just ran backwards there. We're now through the foundation wall. Everything from this point on is all exposed piping in the crawl space. You can crawl right up to it and look at it. And the home inspector takes a look down there for leaks and stuff. Anyway, even with that rinky-dink little belly in the line, that is a fabulous looking sewer line. And a lot of that is related to how the line was being treated. That's how you want your line to look right there. Good flow all the way to the main. All the piping is scoped there is in good condition, intact, and superbly clean. The sewer line is functioning properly at this time.